Stage 11 is a flat outing of 191.2 kilometres starting in the Murcia region and heading to Cabo de Gata, southeast of Almeria. The wind could be a factor heading down the coast, but if teams like Trek Segafredo, Alpecin de Koenig and BikeExchange-Jayco keep the breakaway on a tight leash, it is almost guaranteed to end in a bunch sprint. Well, 3 riders from the Spanish wildcard teams went up the road early, so an ideal situation for the sprint teams. They only gave them a small gap, but the pace was fairly leisurely, around 38 kilometres an hour. The different sprint teams, Trek, Alpecin, BikeExchange and Arkea Samsic, putting a man each on the front of the pack. The gap was soon down to under 2 minutes, and meanwhile the wind was really starting to blow. But none of the teams in the bunch seemed interested in trying to force splits. They also didn't want to catch the breakaway too early. So the peloton just easing off the pace a little bit. This was turning into a real recovery day for many riders. That was good news for the race leader Evenepoel, who's put in some big efforts over the past few days. He'd already been looking forward to a quieter outing after blitzing his way through yesterday's time trial.
For sure, after an all-out effort of 34 minutes, 33 minutes, you really do feel the legs because it's a day of big focus and a bit of stress as well. So I think it's a perfect day to get the body a bit relaxed more again and try to recover from yesterday and for tomorrow's stage, of course.
But it's sometimes on the quieter days that riders get caught out. In the breakaway, Repa went to ground on a fairly harmless-looking bend. Luckily, there was no major damage done. However, there were far more serious consequences when Julian Alaphilippe crashed a few minutes later. The world champion has had a nightmare season, and it looks like this may be the end of it. He had to abandon the race with a suspected shoulder injury.
An attack, and Jetse Bol has decided that he's had enough of sitting around with these 2 riders, and Bol now goes up the road.
Bol going solo heading into the final 50 kilometres, with Boo and Repa soon swallowed up by the peloton. And the riders also had to contend with the heat today. The temperatures soaring to almost 40 degrees Celsius in southern Spain. Bol, the day's most aggressive rider, was soon in the peloton's crosshairs. The Dutchman was caught with 26k to go. Next up was the intermediate sprint around 10 kilometres from the line. Pedersen helping himself to 20 points with nobody really putting him under any pressure. It would be a different story for the stage victory though, the pace really increasing on the long, straight run-in.
Here goes the sprint now. Team of Bike Exchange, the move on the right-hand side. They've got 300 metres to go. Still Bike Exchange with Kaden Groves right in the wheel of Kel O'Brien. Big move on the right-hand side with Degenkolb as they make their switch. Here we go now with Pascal Ackermann. Ackermann fires. Pascal Ackermann, huge attack by him. Dan McClay challenges as well. Kaden Groves. Kaden Groves. It's Groves on the line. Kaden Groves wins for Bike Exchange-Jayco.
Yeah, boys!
Woo! Feels fantastic. This morning with the news of Simon going positive for COVID, all the boys pretty disappointed, and it's the best way to bounce back after such bad news. So I'm really happy to celebrate, but I also wish he was here, as he's part of this team. And being my first Grand Tour win, for sure takes the cake. It's been a really good year. I'm super happy to get a win here already, and there's still more stages to come.
Groves winning ahead of Danny van Poppel, who is decidedly more than just a lead-out man. Tim Merlier third, with Juan Sebastian Milano taking an impressive 4th place ahead of Pedersen. Evenepoel remains on top overall, and with Yates and Pavel Sivakov pulling out this morning, Ben O'Connor and Timon Aronsman move into the top 10.